looks like a guitar pick.
First time I do a widescreen front-facing camera. It's a little more accurate than I was doing before because it's more stability, but I digress. Let me talk about reading a little bit. It's very important that everybody learns the proper way to read as a practical manner in school. We learn to read page by page, word by word, concept for concept, right? And then we make an open response question to be as clear, concise, and accurate as possible. So I remember my SATs and the MCAS, if you remember the MCAS from Massachusetts. In Texas, the tax test as well, TAX, the Texas standardized exam, which is all about reading comprehension, a math portion, science, etc., etc. I took an SAT prep course as well, but I didn't take the ACT. Only the SAT, and the score. My school scored all differently. My graduating class, Shrewsbury High 2016. As of that year, we were a 5 scale on our GPA. My GPA was like a 3.2 on a 5 scale, right? Or 3.7 on a 5 scale. Something like that. And my SAT, instead of being out of 1,200, it was out of 2,400, so double the score. It was a 1550 out of a 12, out of a 24 scale. I'm not sure if it was 1,200 or 1,600, but mine was definitely 2,400. And I got into multiple universities, and the only problem was really like the material, like reading the syllabus. Like I've been in college for almost a decade, and I have my associate in science, which is an achievement, but I should have my doctorate by now. My only problem is that I'm having trouble reading. The reading that I learned in high school is not the same reading that I have to do in college. The reading in college is 100 pages a week, 1,000 pages a week on some books, a book every week or something like that, 1,000-page, 2,000-page book every week if you're in law school, for example. Now, how do you read that at the pace that you are taught in school? The way we read word by word, letter for letter, page by page. And how do you scan your eyes through the whole content of the book at that velocity? I mean, how does your brain process words that fast? The problem is that the way that we're taught to read at school is not the same way that we're taught to read at home. For example, mom will read the Bible to you out loud, for example, and turn the page slightly, right, so that you can go back and reread it again, because you're not just reading through the Bible once and then never reading it again. You have to go read it page by page, word by word, thought by thought, space by space, and then go back to reread it again in order to do another devotional or another prayer session before bed or getting up for the day, and a devotional as well. So I started really, truly reading a devotional and a Bible. I'm talking about reading still. And don't even get me started on reading music. Reading music is so hard. Why? Because it's the same concept. How are we playing an instrument and reading a sheet at the same time? How are you reading it and moving your tongue and your teeth and your eyes and your feet and keeping rhythm and time all at the same time? Why? It's because the reading being done is not that literal word by word, thought by thought, point by point, page by page, cover by cover concept that we learn on the algorithm. Right? We think all these people are reading Like all these content creators, they're reading and reading and reading a bunch of books and a bunch of self-help and a bunch of things. Oh, I read 12 books this week. How did you read 12 books in the span of 7 24-hour days where you're up for 8? You know, what are you doing to read all those books? Are you listening to audiobooks? No, we're reading literal books. But the concept is being glued to the mind so that they can repeat the main idea or the grand narrative of the book just from experiencing it as a piece of media. In the same way that you're watching this video and you're probably like just kind of absorbing it, kind of vibing out, kind of sitting there, doing what you do and living a good life, an ataraxia. How you live on your phone as a piece of media, your phone is just an advanced book. Same thing as your TV screen, same thing as your video game. Imagine watching a movie, right? I learned this reading A Space Odyssey, the first book by C.S. Lewis. I have the trilogy all in one book that I borrowed from Campus Outreach, the host there, with the pastor of the church. They give a seminary there, and he lended me the trilogy of The Space Odyssey. I started reading it. I even lost the bookmark. I can't believe it. But I have a new bookmark. I'll give it to him with the new bookmark. And reading it reminded me of the SATs because the pedestrian's name's Ransom, right? He's the main character of the trilogy. But first he was introduced in the first book as the pedestrian. I'm not sure if it's a prequel or it's just the first book, but he is the pedestrian first, and then he's revealed to be named Ransom. Reminded me of one of those excerpts from the MCAS or from the SAT. And from the SAT prep course for reading comprehension. I saw that my reading comprehension was exactly like watching a movie. Reading a book, word for word, page by page, idea for idea, image for image. But now the imagination is taking control while the concept of the book is being made real to us. Just like watching a movie, you flip through a book, imagine, let's reverse engineer it by saying that a book is like a reverse movie, or like an old movie. That's why a movie works with film, frame by frame. This camera is 120 frames per second. That means that every second you're flipping through a book for 120 pages. Imagine that while you're watching this video of a Christian philosopher.